William, look at this kind of weird gadget I found. We'll show you how both these gadgets work next on Garden Time. Welcome to Garden Time. We're at Smithberry Barn where they're getting ready for their holiday open house, which is happening Friday, November 15th.
And later on in the show today, I'm going to be talking to Joelle about a host of different kitchen gadgets that they have available.
And also coming up in the show today, we'll be talking about some very cool indoor plants.
But coming up first, winter conifers in pots. So I'm out here at the wonderfully beautiful garden center called French Prairie Perennials, and I'm here with Rick Naylor. And Rick, I think what we're going to be talking about, I'm going to let you clarify it, is containers of sorts, but conifers in containers, right?
Right, that and just, you know, this time of year, not everybody, but most people's pots are tired.
Right.
You just want to pull everything out. It's either dead or it's just going dormant. And they don't look very good. Well, that doesn't really necessarily have to be the case. If you use the right plant material this time of year, you can have wonderful pots for the holidays.
Because when I look down at either one of these containers, I do see, of course, a conifer or two within them, but it's not just a bunch of annuals that give, you know, a smash of color. These are colorful and yet a variety of things.
Right, and they'll even look good in the summer, spring, summer. You can use these all year. Of course, you can't necessarily leave things in a container forever because they're going to outgrow it and you'll want to put some of the stuff in the yard eventually. But these are good for a couple of years.
And all of this stuff in these containers is hardy.
Right, well. Absolutely. We've got some black scallop ajuga here, and we have the forever blue sempervivum.
Beautiful.
Both grow very slowly, you know, and they're not going to fill up the container too fast. We have forever red heuchera, and then do have one conifer in here, that's little marquee, which is a hinoki cypress that is a dwarf and only grows 3 to 4 inches a year.
And so let me ask you a quick question on that. Throughout my history in the horticulture industry, you know, we have sold things based on their size and what they will ultimately be. And I think sometimes we have possibly misled people because nature never stops growing, so it's something else that we should pay attention to on miniature and dwarfs. What is that?
What we need to remember is that miniature, dwarf, intermediate, and large, which are the 4 classifications of conifers, is a growth rate.
Okay.
Not necessarily how big they're going to get. And it's also relative to the species, so that's where you have to be careful, because you could have a 50-foot Leland cypress, 25-foot dwarf. So not necessarily, the term dwarf doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stay small.
Right. It's not, okay, that makes sense to me. And then it is really about just time itself. Nature tends to continue to grow until it just is gone.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
That's absolutely correct.
So then tell me about this beautiful kind of silver blue conifer. What is that one?
This is one of my favorites. This is Cupressus macrocarpa Greenstead magnificent.
Wow.
And it has a prostrate or weeping kind of growth habit, but retains this bright blue color year round.
Wow.
And it also grows very slowly, but it's a beautiful plant. Has a very soft texture and is great in a pot because it doesn't grow too fast.
Right.
This is Camellias vetusted Just Dandy, which also is a dwarf that grows slowly, 1 to 2 inches a year. Technically it's a miniature, but it's still not going to, you know, it's going to stay. Over time, it's going to be 2 by 2, so obviously it's not something you want to live in a container forever, but for 2 or 3 years it would be fine.
It would be fine, indeed. And then, of course, this looks like Angelina.
It is Sedum Angelina.
I just said Angelina Jolie. Isn't that hysterical? I meant just Angelina. So, yeah, that's still beautiful, though.
Absolutely, but unlike Angelina Jolie, this one will grow and drape over the pot over time.
And then just the black mondo grass.
And then the black mondo grass, so that you have a combination of textures and colors so that your pot looks great, even though if it's out there in the dark.
Well, one of the things that I've always loved about coming here is that you guys not only have great plant selection, you also have wonderful containers, but your store is filled with amazing gifts. I mean, such a great selection.
Yes, I mean, my wife does a great job of looking everywhere for unusual things and things you don't see everywhere else. And we have a great event coming up in December 7th and 8th, and here in Aurora, of all the vendors, the wine and chocolate walk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which every store will have wine samples and chocolate samples for people to taste or purchase if they want to.
Wonderful.
And the whole town does it, so you can walk through town and everybody
And
decorates
see the
for
beautiful
Christmas.
city of Aurora as well.
Absolutely, and everybody decorates for Christmas. And
Yeah.
it's a very festive event.
Well, there you have it. So if you're thinking, not only do I want to just go to French Prairie Perennials, but I might do this old wine chocolate thing, go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website. Thank you, my friend. Always
Thank
a
you very
pleasure.
much.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
The seasons are definitely changing, but at Portland Nursery, the one thing that never changes is our commitment to you, our customer. Whether it's helping you get ready for the holidays or getting your garden ready for the next growing season, Portland Nursery has the experts to help you prepare. Stop by and see what's new for your home or garden, then take home something special for the season. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people, at 50th and Stark or 90th and Division.
Welcome to A&R Nursery, where you'll find premium quality plants at near wholesale prices. Come see our wide selection of beautiful shrubs, perfect for adding privacy to your yard. Check out our collection of colorful shade trees. And beginning November 29th, see an impressive assortment of living Christmas trees in both popular and unusual varieties. A&R Nursery, located between Woodland and La Center on Highway 99 at Tonjes Road. Go to arnursery.com for directions.
Well, I'm delighted to be standing with Joelle from Smith Berry Barn. We're actually in Joelle's kitchen where we do a lot of recipes, but this time I see some edible stuff, but there's a lot of gadgets out here. Tell me what we're going to be doing.
So we're going to be talking about kitchen gadgets today. Some of my favorite ones that are must-haves in the kitchen, as well as that are great for our upcoming holiday season with all the baking and cooking that we're going to be doing, and make great stocking stuffers.
Oh, I love that idea. Well, why don't we start over here with this like three-pronged glass thing?
So we have a few different measuring tools that I think are really handy. We have our triple pour measuring cup, which is great because it has 3 different spouts for measuring from.
Wow.
And then it also has this handy little lid in case you didn't use everything that you were intending. You can store it in the fridge that way. I also have this great little, it's called a mini measure, much like a little shot glass.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Exactly, but it has all of the measuring amounts that you might need. So you can grab a little, a 2 teaspoon and fill it that way.
And then these look like teaspoons and tablespoons.
So these are some of my favorite measuring spoons. Number 1, we have the spice spoon, which is an elongated spoon, and it's great for the spice jar that a regular measuring spoon...
Because they're never wide enough.
Exactly. So it fits into a narrow-mouthed spice jar. And then we also have our dash pinch smidgen
That's so smart.
measuring spoon for all of your tiny amounts.
Yeah, because I grew up with grandmothers, and I knew for what that meant as a little kid. But for those who didn't, that's clever.
Well, and a pinch with my fingers is different than a pinch with my husband's fingers.
True.
Here we go.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to be getting those teaspoon things because I love that. Now, what do you have next that's coming on?
So next we'll do some slicing and cutting.
Okay.
My favorite, we probably use this every day in our kitchen, are the herb scissors, which if you have some herbs that you need to
look at that.
Slice, dice, cut.
They are amazing, aren't they?
Makes a very quick work of it rather than having to get out a knife and do a lot of chopping.
And very convenient because if you don't want to do this kind of chopping with a knife,
exactly,
it's so much safer for fingers.
Yep, exactly. We have a wavy knife, which makes for really fun appetizers. This is a cucumber.
Oh, wow.
And we make pretty quick work of that. Yep. It's for your little
and it
veggie
just
platter.
Adds some kind of style with the wave
exactly.
in it.
And then we have a spiralizer.
I don't know even what that means.
So you would...
Oh, no way. So it makes them also really long and wavy. So that would be great for a lot of Asian recipes that I've tried to make before.
Yep, exactly.
Wow,
Works
nice.
for carrots and zucchini really well. That's that. And then my favorite apple tool is the apple core. I love this because of the trigger handle. So you very sharply go through the center and
that
then
was
you pull it
fast.
out and then off your
It just
core
comes right off
comes.
there.
Yep.
Okay, so now I see garlic. I love garlic.
Very
Let's talk
important
about that.
very important. So you're going to do the zoom, the garlic zoom, which you just roll
means
it.
rolling, I'm
roll it
assuming
like a
here.
car.
Okay.
And I am going to do the slicer.
And then you just roll like that, I'm assuming, right?
Roll like that.
Oh
I'm
my
twisting.
goodness. That's pretty cool. It really makes a great little tiny cut up of garlic.
Very easy. And that was quick.
Yeah. And then yours just made
Slices. Yep.
That is those
Easy.
are very cool.
Yep.
Alrighty, what's next?
So then we have some different lemon tools. You are going to do the zest or the juicing on the,
Okay,
and I am going to juice this one.
I know how to do that. Okay, now just twist it around. And then you can use any kind of cup like this to save it.
Exactly.
And then just pour it in where you need it to go.
Perfect.
Nice.
Good job. And then our last favorite tool is the emulsifier. So this is a dressing tool where you fill it with all of your ingredients. It even has recipes on the side. And you basically just squeeze and it stirs. So you can store it. If you don't use it all, you can store it in the refrigerator and then just let it come.
Rather than shake it
Yep,
forever, just
exactly.
Oh, that's
Just-
great. That's great. And that was the lemon saying, "Oh, look at me." So here's the fun thing. All of this stuff is available at your store, right?
Exactly.
So if you're thinking, you know what, I want to learn to cook better, I want to make cooking easier, whatever it is, you can come out to Smithberry Barn and pick up one of these or many of these great things for a stocking stuffer for someone you love. Thank you so much, Joelle.
Thank you.
Well, I am at Little Prince of Oregon with Ryan, and Ryan, we love coming for the plant picks because you always have something cool for us.
And we always love having you out and
Well, thanks.
like showing you new
Well,
things that
great.
we're doing.
And you know, we're indoors now. We're kind of going outdoors a little bit, but we're indoors, but we need greenery. We need to be surrounded by plants.
We do. I mean, it's not like, we can garden year round. Might not be out on the deck or patio or digging a hole in the mud or the dirt this time of
Right.
year. But, when the weather starts cooling off, we can take things inside when it's raining outside. So you can garden year round,
Nice,
which is
nice.
great. So we've kind of expanding and doing a lot more with the indoor plants,
Fun.
doing more foliage plants, and trying to keep that gardening trend going year round.
Excellent. And you know, we all have different kinds of sites in our houses, just like our gardens. We have sunny spots, we have shady spots. So you've really picked out some plants that will dedicate to those places.
Right. So things like a lot of your ferns are kind of some more of the low light conditions. Everybody's got those areas in the house that might not be sitting in that full window spot, or it
Right.
might be in a bedroom or some other areas where they want plant material in there. But you need to pick the right plant for the right spot.
Definitely. So ferns would be that
A
plant.
lot of the ferns do. You think ferns in the outdoors. Are typically
same.
in a wooded situation. Think some of those for the indoors too, where
Right.
those lower light situations.
So this one is so pretty because it's actually like a bluish color.
It is. This one's called a polypodium called Blue Star.
Beautiful.
And so you have a kind of a big bold foliage, and it's that real kind of a dusty blue silver foliage. So you can get kind of a nice statement with some of these ferns.
And then one of my favorites is the rabbit foot because really it has little rabbit
It
foot
does. You're right.
feet.
And it's just a very delicate, lacy foliage, and then you kind of get down in there, and you can kind of see the little rabbit, looks like rabbit foots hanging over the edge. So that's kind of always a fun one. And then this is kind of a neat one too, just for the
love
shape of the
that.
foliage. This is
Yeah.
called a heartleaf fern or hemiotis. And it's another one, just, there's so many different bold textures or the soft textures where you can kind of really mix these up and have these different areas in your house with different collections and things like that, where you can have some bold and you can have some soft. And you don't necessarily need to plant them all together in the same
I
pot.
like that.
But if you're clustering them and have little groupings in the
Sure.
house is really kind of a fun way.
I
to do
like
it.
that idea because sometimes being in one pot is difficult. So having all separate and then you show off your pottery too.
Right, and because different plants are taking on different waters and different
Sure.
needs, so it's hard to have a container where you're all packed in the same thing, where one plant may be wilting down because it needs more water,
Right.
yet the other one's going to be drying out or waterlogged and dying. So by having them in different pots or different containers, you can still have a nice little collection and clustering and still get you kind of that same foliage.
That makes sense. And so what about a sunnier spot?
So sunnier spots, there's definitely people have those areas that they're nice sunny windows where it needs the sun and lower water needs. So
Oh,
where your
nice.
ferns might be, needing to be watered a little bit more often or showing the signs of wilt deterioration, you get into a lot of the different succulents that will be able to handle that, high light, warmer temperatures in the
Sure,
house,
right.
and take the heats, but maybe not require as much light.
I love that idea.
Right, so there's lots of different, like the echeverias, those have those really large rosette succulent
pretty.
kind of looks, or even like some of these really cool aloes where you get these, great blooms, great little thorns and warts on them. It's just kind of a fun, another one of those playing off the different textures and colors of these plants.
And I think that really means something. It's just like when you do containers outdoors,
Right.
and go for different textures. I think that's really makes it more interesting for us.
It does, yeah. And so, when you're looking at these in the garden center or online, you want to make sure you're paying attention to the light needs
Right.
or some of the water needs of these, so you're not setting yourself up for failure. You don't necessarily want to put your rabbit's foot fern in the same
Right
place
next to the
next to
succulent.
your aloes.
Well, those are really great tips for us. So if you have any other questions, go to gardentime.tv. We'll click over to little prints. You can go to your local garden center or you can buy right online. Thanks so much.
Great, thank you, Judy.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
I've been a Capital Subaru customer for 15 years, and one of the main reasons is because they treat me well and I want to shop local. The service department is excellent, and I always feel like I'm taken care of here. In fact, they call me now even after I've driven off the lot to remind me to come in and get my car washed. That's service. One of the reasons why I like coming to Capital Subaru, actually, they have the dog area, and I can just walk my dog around the whole area and we can enjoy the outside. I got it my way on the Parkway.
Do you have a leaning or broken fence? Fix a broken fence with ease. Made in Oregon, the sturdy fence post bracket can mend your drooping fence. Strong winds, falling debris, dry rot, and wayward drivers can all cause havoc on your once sturdy fence. Our sturdy bracket attaches to your existing fence and is easily installed in 30 minutes. Limit waste, materials, and save money by fixing your existing fence. Purchase online at sturdfence.com or visit participating Par Lumber and Pro Build stores.
Don't let the cold and wet get you this winter. Warm up to a season of heat with Grimm's Fuel. Grimm's has plenty of wood and heating oil ready to deliver to keep you warm all winter long. Stay warm and cozy with Grimm's Fuel.
Locally grown, fresh from the farm, festive and magical. Your holiday season begins at Owl's Garden and Home. Join us for our Evening of Lights. Shop Christmas ornaments from designer decorated trees, delight in poinsettias fresh from our local farm, try ice apples and other tasty treats, and enjoy savings throughout the store. Welcome the joys of the season with your whole family. Come celebrate our Evening of Lights at Owl's Garden and Home in Woodburn, Sherwood, Gresham, and Wilsonville.
We're going into the stormy time of the year, so it really is the time to look at the trees around your home. I'm with Logan from Bartlett Tree Experts, and really, what should we be looking at those trees?
Well, we want to start from the ground up. So we want to assess the root system. We want to make sure that there's a visible root collar, and then move up the trunk and look for any defects in the trunk, and then up into the canopy of the tree and look for dead branches, hanging branches, maybe branch defects, which we can go over in a little bit, or if there's been a history of branch failures in the tree. For instance, like this maple behind us. It's lost several large branches, due to decay and from windstorms that have moved through.
So what should we do if that was in our yard? What should we do about that tree?
Well, we would definitely want to take a little closer look at it and determine whether this is a tree that we would want to save or not. So one of the options is always removal, but the other option is to prune the tree, remove some of those hazardous branches, reduce the length of some of the longest overextended branches, and possibly install some cables.
Ah, really? So that would make it safe for your neighbors, for your home, for your family.
Exactly, yes.
And I know that you have some other samples in another part of this area here, so let's go look at those.
All right,
okay.
let's.
Now, Logan, this one has like a split trunk, so should we be worried about it?
Yes, this is a tree that would warrant further investigation. So you do want your arborist to look at this tree. So a lot of times when we do have these large codominant leaders, they're not as strongly attached as a traditional U-shaped branch connection would be with interlocking layers of branch and trunk and branch and trunk. This has just two trunks pressed up against each other, and actually this one is growing bark on the inside of that attachment, so they are just kind of pressed right up there.
Well, this one is in the middle of a field, so really we wouldn't have to worry so much. If it does cleave apart, it's not going to fall in a house, so we can just kind of monitor it.
Yes, but this would be a good one if it was next to your house to subordinate one of the codominant leaders and possibly install a cable support system in the top of the canopy.
And then the one next to it has a lot of dead wood, so really we should go in there, have you come in and go in there and cut off those dead limbs.
Yeah, this tree does have a lot of large, low dead branches, and dead branches can break out. And there's even some broken and hanging branches in there as well.
And then one of the trunks have like growths on it, and what do you call those growths?
Yeah, so one of the trees that we're going to go look at is a tree that has red ring rot conchs. So these are conchs that do indicate that there is decay in the tree. So that is also something that should be assessed by your arborist.
And then another one, there's a fir tree, and if you didn't know it was a fir, but there's no leaves on it, so really a lot's gone on with that one.
Yeah. So dead trees, do have the possibility of being wind thrown. So if it's recently dead, might not be as big of a deal, but dead trees probably should be removed.
Now you've covered a lot of things on this segment now, but if we forget all of them, is there kind of a cheat sheet on the website?
Yes, on our website we do have a PDF of identifying hazardous trees.
That would really help us all. So if you want to go to the Garden Time website, we do have a link to that PDF, and then you can go to the Bartlett website and maybe give them a call and have your trees assessed. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
This week's plant pick is brought to you by Little Prince. Our plants won't croak.
Save big today on new appliances for your home during Black Friday deals at Standard TV and Appliance. Take advantage of store-wide savings up to 50% off, plus 12 months no interest financing. There's never been a better time to get a great deal on appliances, mattresses, and more during this incredible once-a-year sales event. Hurry in now for savings up to 50% off during our Black Friday deals going on now. Standard TV and Appliance, Oregon's largest independent appliance company.
At Blooming Junction, fall isn't about winding down, it's about getting ready. In the garden, start the next season off right now. Fall plantings produce healthier, more robust, and drought-tolerant plants than those planted in spring or summer. In the kitchen, get ready for the holidays with fresh, organically grown produce from our fields. So, whether it's for the garden or for the kitchen this season, Blooming Junction is your place for quality, uncommon plants and produce for your home and garden.
Don't let the cold and wet get you this winter. Warm up to a season of heat with Grimm's Fuel. Grimm's has plenty of wood and heating oil ready to deliver to keep you warm all winter long. Stay warm and cozy with Grimm's Fuel.
I am at Sugawa Nursery today, and they're right on I-5 in Woodland, Washington with Brian. And Brian, you have the biggest selection of camellias I've seen in so long.
Yeah, well, thanks, Judy. These Sasenko camellias, they just came in off the truck. So we got a nice little display offering some color that you don't really see coming into the fall. Early January, February, they can last. It kind of depends on the weather what determines them to open up like that.
And these varieties will bloom probably before the first of the year.
Definitely, yeah. You can see a lot of them just fully loaded with flower buds. A lot of these are grown in California, but they're plenty hardy for this area. But they just do a better job in that area, developing a better flower bud.
Well, nice. And so, what is this one? I love this double pink.
A lot of them have like Japanese names, but this one is Showa no Saki. Kind of a semi-double. They can come in single flower, double flower, and actually they classify it as a semi-double, but. Showa no Saki, and it has, you can kind of see a very sporadic growth habit on it. So a lot of the habit will determine the height. So if you see the vertical upright, you're probably going to know that's going to get 6 to 8 foot tall. The more loose or open, or the habit will kind of tell you 4 to 6 feet, 6 to 8 feet.
But you can prune them.
Oh, definitely. They take pruning. They're very versatile too. You can see the growth, very easily trained on a trellis. not really arbors, but probably a lot for trellises and different styles like that.
Beautiful. And so there's one on the ground that I've never seen before, that light pink.
Yeah, that
Jean
it's
May?
a really, yes, Jean May. You can see it's a really pretty pink on that. Very popular here. When it first comes kind of opening up, it actually looks kind of like almost, I don't know, like a peony or something.
It does.
But very fully. The buds are just, it's always fun to watch them.
It is.
From bud to open up like that.
And I think this one's an old favorite. What is this one?
Yuletide, probably known for Christmas time blooming. It's Yuletide. It's been around for ever since we had Sasenko camellias. But just a really nice, stunning red, nice true red camellia flower on that.
And I love the yellow stamens in the center. It's
That
really pretty.
I think that really makes it cheery, I guess you'd call
Nice.
it.
And here's another one, Bonanza. That's another new one for me.
Yeah, you can see the compact, between the leaf nodes, the compactness of this. So probably going to be more 4 to 6 foot tall. They will get taller, but easily trimmed, and another nice red.
Nice.
I guess you call that red. It's kind of a dark pink.
Yeah, dark pink.
In camellias, they call it red.
Oh, okay. And then a double white, which is just so pretty. It's stunning.
Yes, I think it is. Very upright habit on this one, but you can see just loaded with flower buds, and whites do really well for the dark, dreary color of the fall and the winter. They kind of lighten up the darker areas. So they do take kind of a shaded situation, but they prefer, a little break from that 2 to 4 o'clock time. But they're just a nice plant to have for that time of year.
And this one's called Winter Snowman.
Yeah.
That's another new one.
Yep.
I want to show everybody this really nice bulletin board you hear of all the different varieties of camellias.
Well, yeah, when you want to look at camellias, such as a customer or whatever, but having everything on information side by side so you can actually take notes or say what was, you kind of forget what it looked like. So this saved a lot of walking is what it really did.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, it worked really well.
Somebody went to a lot of trouble to give us some more information for us to take home and make the best selection for a camellia for our own gardens. And would you say this is a great time to plant?
I think it's a really great time right now.
Yeah, because they actually will put on some root growth and be ready for that beautiful springtime.
That's
also.
right, get them established before winter comes. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, if you have any camellias that you can use for your yard, this is the place to come. There's so many to choose from. You can see them. They're starting to bloom right now, so you can see them actually here. You don't have to see them in a picture. Come out and see Brian and his staff and pick out one today. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for watching Garden Time today, and we did want to remind you that on Friday the 15th is the Holiday Open House happening out here at Smithberry Barn.
And for more information about that event or anything you saw in Garden Time, please go to gardentime.tv.
If you enjoyed spending some time with us today, why don't we spend some more time together next week right here on Garden Time.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.